Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Spotlight, brought to you by the Georgetown NAACP branch number 5520. We have a lot to talk about this morning. Recent school board, special election, democracy under threat, and local events that are coming up that you need to be aware of and be involved with. So right after this opening, we're going to get to it. And of course, hopefully we'll be joined by Amy Kelly, the International Gullah Film Festival organizer, to talk about the schedule. Things kicked off last night and lots more happening today and for the next 2 weeks, and we want you to be aware of it. We'll see you in a moment.
Heavenly Father, we ask you to put a hand of protection.
And we're back. And let me go ahead and bring in my co-host today, Marvin Neal, president of the Georgetown NAACP branch number 5520. Good morning, Marvin.
Good morning, Marilyn. How you doing? I almost called you Ebony.
I'm doing good. All right. So, yep, Ebony can't be with us this morning. She's at a training. And, of course, we always support her in that. So she's moving forward with that, and she'll be back next week. So let's get rolling. There's a lot to talk about. We'll talk about what's going on, and then we'll talk about some upcoming events and stuff we need people to go to. But the very first thing I want to talk about is the recent school board special election, which I'm happy with the results, Marvin. The winner was Catherine Ferdon Jackson. And of course, our school board elections are nonpartisan in Georgetown. But I have to tell you, turnout was low. I don't know if people are suffering voter fatigue or just not paying attention, but one thing noted in this race is there were 5 forums, minimum 5 public forums. And I think even on top of that, there were smaller groups having meetings that they may not have necessarily publicized, but they did invite folks into their meetings and stuff to learn who the school board candidates were. But I like the results because I think one candidate, let me go ahead and bring in Jackie Williams also. Hey, Jackie, how are you?
I am great. How you guys doing?
Good. We got your information. So when we get to that, I can post it and everything.
Okay.
We just talked about the school board special election results with the winner, Catherine Ferdon Jackson, and just I'm happy with the results. Any thoughts from both of you? One was, I think, too radical. You know, I'll let y'all give your opinions, and I'm going to give the opinion on a campaign situation. But go ahead, your thoughts on school board and why it's so important that we vote every election.
Mm-hmm.
Good, Jack.
I think this election, this school board election, I think really shows why it is important to vote every election. We could have had the same outcome as we did in the city council race, had people not showed up to vote. So this particular election, to me, proves the power that we have, shows the power that we have when we go to the poll and when we choose to exercise our right to vote. What I am hoping and praying is that people really understand this and show up at the next election as these elections roll around and as they come up, because That's the only way that we're going to be able to undo the damage that is currently being done in our communities, is to show up. I think she was the best candidate. She has experience in the classroom. She can identify with what teachers are going through. She could identify with what is happening in the school system. And she sees it from the perspective of the fact that these are children that we are talking about, and not running the board like the school district should be ran like a business, because it's not that cookie cutter scenario. And I really thought she was the best candidate. Two reasons why, and then, then Marvin, you could jump in. Two reasons why I thought she was the best candidate, other than the fact that she had the message that was probably the most practical, in terms of her ideology, what she thinks, and what she would do. One candidate clearly is very angry about critical race theory, which I don't even understand why that's an issue with, folks with critical race theory, because we're not even talking about kids that age, but they're making it an issue. To me, it's a distraction. But he doesn't even have the right definition of critical race theory. All he sees, all that one candidate saw, was that, oh, this is going to hurt our little white children, and try to make them feel a certain way. Okay, well, what about all of the other little children of color who go to school and feel a certain way every day? You're not thinking about that, And then the other candidate, it was just too many excuses. It was too many excuses, as it relates to why certain things were done. When he was asked about family members of the former superintendent getting, these jobs and different things like that, and his response was, well, let me pass the buck, because that's essentially what he did. He passed the buck. Basically, he just said, well, I didn't have anything to do with that because that's a board decision. Well, silence gives consent. And you may not have had anything to do with it directly, but what you did, you sat by and you watched this happen under your watch in your position, and you did nothing about it. Jackie. Even if I had lost my position, if I knew that was wrong, what you should have done was you should have sounded the alarm, and you didn't do that. So therefore, because you did not do anything, you are just as guilty as the ones who voted and watched this happen with these family members that took positions from qualified people because they were family members. And so for me, those two things right there were key in my decision as to who I chose to cast my ballot for. And congratulations to Miss Ferdon Anderson, I believe. I'm glad that I'm glad that she she was successful, and I think that she is going to do a good job.
And Jackie, it's not only that he passed the buck. The application process went through him, the human resources person.
Mm-hmm.
The guy did not even qualify in the application process. Okay, so you can't pass the buck. The guy should have never made it to the board. Never should have made it to the interview. He didn't even have the certification. Was not even certified but he was a director directing no one, director for pay, because he was the superintendent's son. Okay, and not only that now, and he knew that, because it all came out that even in the ethics filing, that it was it was allegedly said that one in the human resources office was asked, "Do you have a problem hiring my son?" Okay, so that was all clear text on where that was headed, and he got promoted after that to assistant superintendent. So to pass the buck is one thing, but to sit there and lie is another. That was a flat out lie in that interview. And we need to call it what it is. People need to stop lying. If he's saying, well, I screwed up, he might have got a whole lot more votes than what he got, because they spent a lot of money in this race. And Kathy Fadon said she just spent pennies, And the other young guy there, he kept mentioning Dr. Pringle's name like that was going to get him over the hump. Everyone saw through that. What does Dr. Pringle have to do? And everything that he said, Dr. Pringle said, he sent me the email. He sent it to me. Hey, Scott DeBose. You know what the email said? Dr. Pringle mentioned in the email said, "I'm impressed. I will call you tomorrow." Does that sound like an endorsement?
No.
I was impressed with the amount of votes Trump got, but I would never vote for that clown.
Right.
That to do with, that was the endorsement. "I'm impressed. I'll call you tomorrow."
Yeah.
Then told me in the email if I did not take back calling him a liar, he was going to go public with it. I was like, he didn't have to do that. I gave it to the Coastal Observer anyhow. It already went public. So he threatened me like, wow, I was supposed to do, Jump said, "Whoa, please don't do that, Scotty. Beam me up. Come on, Scotty. Man, get real."
Yeah. I think the only thing one of the things that I'm truly disappointed with in reference to the situation with our former superintendent is the fact that, I'm fine with the findings from the Ethics Commission, but what I'm not fine with is how minimal the fines were.
Yeah.
I'm not fine with that. Because to me, it still shows how and who runs things and how they look out for each other. It's like, okay, we can't sweep this one under the rug, but we just going to give you a little tap. We're not going to come down. And, and people love to ask us, why is everything about race for you guys? Because we have seen people commit lesser offenses and have criminal charges brought against them, or big fines and big civil actions brought against them. And his fines didn't even come to $1,000. I mean, just, pennies.
And they benefited financially to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars.
Exactly.
You add all their salaries in. This wasn't chump salaries. These were tens of thousands of dollars over time. And I'm saying tens of thousands over time compared to this fine that was less than $1,000. But we're talking six-figure salaries here that were in, or good retirements, and you got custodians not making a living wage.
Yeah, and
right, exactly.
It's the white privilege fine, and it's the white privilege salary. So we might as well just go ahead and say that, because that's what it boils down to. Number two, what you're looking at, and not only that, just look at what happened with Jonathan Giles, which is a judge now, magistrate, and Alan Walters. Same things. Advertised at $40,000. Within a month or so after they gave Alan Walters the position, not even recommended position by the interview team. Only one was recommended was Jonathan Giles. Less than a month, he is up to $70,000, $73,000.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? These are the things that these are the things that raise the hair on people's head. What's the use of even applying for a position? And they're telling people that, apply for the position, and these are things you'd have to do to get there. They put people in the interview not to hire Black people. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
And They put black people in the interview, not to hire black people. Bottom line. So we need to just stop it. The bottom line, we need to stop it and quit making these excuses. Why would you bring in someone new and you have someone serving 15 plus years in the district extensively doing well? Great evaluations, great everything. And say, well, you didn't interview well. What the hell is the interview for anyhow? You already knew what her skill sets is. You already knew her performance. So what does the interview has to do? Does the interview have anything to do with it? Or that's just another face at the interview saying, oh, she didn't interview well. See, that form was filled out before they even walked into the interview. She was already failed the interview before she even walked in there. Then telling folks, well, it's all right. We'll coach you and all this other stuff. Coach who? You have people who went from teacher to principal to human resources director to assistant superintendent and never had an interview. White privilege.
Yeah. Can I say?
Then ran for school board.
Not only do we need to end it,
I'm not calling no name.
We need to become aware of it.
Exactly.
And what I mean, we have normalized corruption so much.
Yep.
People think this is normal stuff. They think it's a question of morals.
Yeah.
It really is. People have normalized corruption so much that they think it's normal to let this stuff slide. And when you cross line after line after line and keep letting things slide, it comes to a bigger picture of corruption. So I mean, it's so normalized. People don't even realize how corrupted local governments are, school boards are, school districts are, state governments are, and the federal government. So we should not be surprised if you're paying attention that when they do an insurrection on January 6th, that initially people were shocked, but now they're drawing this out. They're trying to sweep stuff under the rug, or the fact that Ginny Thomas, a wife of a Supreme Court justice, literally worked to overthrow a duly elected government. She was an insurrectionist. She conspired.
Yeah.
And lied about it.
And he was the
and
only
no
one
one's
that
up in
voted
arms.
against
All of this is connected. If you sit in a school district position of authority where you let it slide, when you know this application you're looking at, that it's an unqualified person, but more than likely you've been promised something because you just start following the trail, as you said, the person gets hired and you get promoted within a certain amount of time. It's all connected. That is just as connected to immorality has an insurrection on January 6th.
Yeah.
For too long, for decades, we've been letting stuff slide. And when people speak out, they're called troublemakers. They're called agitators to diminish what people are trying to show and educate you about. And it's about morals. We confuse having money with having morals. We confuse having money with being more moral than someone who's poor.
Yeah.
When Jesus himself said, you can't get into heaven with your riches if you're rich. It's biblical. Yeah. So don't come with me quoting Bible verses and you don't call it out. This is what we're talking about. We are at a moment in history that we all as individuals are going to have to make some choices. And you're going to have to make that choice whether you want it to or not.
That's right.
On the right side of history, or you're going to ignore it. And let me tell you, ignoring it is a choice too.
That's right.
Ignoring it. Silence is complicity. So y'all could go out here and quote church and get into church and all this, or you could go ahead and ignore it. And it's not everybody, but it's too many people.
Exactly.
Well,
that are letting this stuff go and go time and time after again. Please stop it with the voting thing where I don't vote because it doesn't change anything. You've made a moral choice.
Yep.
By not voting to allow this corruption to continue.
That's it. Yep.
And woe on you. You deal with that when you go to the pearly gates. You're gonna have to deal with that. You know.
Not only that,
Look here,
we-
look here. You say pearly gates. No, you're gonna have to deal with that when you when you get ready to pay your utility bills. All right, okay. You ain't seen that yet.
You ain't got to go to the pearly gates. Thank
You
you.
gonna deal with that when you get ready to pay them utility bills, and you in there and your eyes tight. Cause you trying to hold back the tears. That is as a result of you not exercising your right to vote. That's it.
You know, and if you look at it in the whole process, you know, we're gonna get off the election, but in the whole process, it speaks volume this election how important the black vote is.
Yes.
If you look at the results, it's the importance of the black vote. Everything else was balanced across the board. The difference in this election was the black vote. And it's always mattered. I don't care if you only have 10% of the vote, you leverage your vote. You leverage your vote, and you leverage those candidates that speaks to your values. That's what you do. You know, your vote always counts. It's where you put it at. It's who you give your vote to. You know, we had folks, you know, endorsing folks and all this other stuff, you know, and spending. I mean, them folks spend $10,000s. You know, I understand about $20,000. I'm gonna pull it financial sheets, which all might not be on anyhow. But the thing is, they spent all this money to lose an election to someone who just walked through and put up minimum signs. You know why? Because she was a trusted voice. She was a trusted voice, and it showed up during the forums. You know, everybody talking these big budgets and all this other stuff. That sounds good. Let's get back to why haven't those cafeteria workers had a living wage? Why aren't janitors have a living wage? Why aren't school bus drivers have a living wage? And why can't school teachers have affordable housing? Just period. All those folks. You see what I'm saying? So
I could answer the one about why school teachers can't have affordable housing. I could answer that question. I'd be like, what's the you remember Welcome Back, Carter? Arnold Horshack used to be in the class going, ooh, 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 ooh.
Oh man.
I could answer that question. Teachers cannot have affordable housing because you have council members that's out here voting to shoot down affordable housing in an area that needs housing desperately, where you have 12,000 plus people commuting back and forth every day because there is no affordable housing. That's why teachers can't have affordable housing. It's not that they can't, Marvin. They actually can. But when you have people who are making decisions to deny them affordable housing, then we have a problem. You know, you understand what I'm saying? It's not like we don't have the land mass. It's not like we don't have the wherewithal. We have perfect opportunities coming to this town that can provide affordable housing for teachers, for hospital employees, for other people that, you know, working at the grocery stores or what have you. But when you have sitting legislate, you know, local governing bodies where you have council people that are voting down something that is so desperately needed, that's why teachers can't have affordable housing. Right there.
And raise their hands for $200,000+ housing in the West town, where gentrification is prevalent. You know, it's just right. I got the message. You know, my message to Georgetown, the west side of Georgetown, not just the West End. I'm talking planners of all of us. Buy your own property from your family members, retain it, and hold on to it.
That's right. Exactly.
Don't sell your property. Those folks calling every day want to buy property in these areas. You know, you can't stop you from building if they buy the property. But the thing is, with legislation and policies, you can control the growth in your area if you leverage it right. You know, because no one talks about inclusionary zoning. Okay, no one talks about that. because that brings in a balance of the population. That's balance the population. We only talk about those zoning that brings in the $200,000+ a year. And every hand went up on those houses, $200,000+ homes. That's what they want to put in areas with a $24,000 median income. How do we do that? And try to justify it based on the across the county, where it's $50,000 median income. No, you have to do this thing by zone. I served on the zoning board. I served on that zoning board for 6 years. And believe me, every opportunity is there to balance Georgetown and get ahead of the game. But the problem is when the zoning board submits something and county council overrides it because of their personal gain, because that was personal gain with the putting down that affordable housing in Georgetown. The county administrator then brought it in. I got to give it to her. She brought it in. Strong administrator. Everything we asked for, she brought it in. She did what the council asked her to do. Then they turned around and said, no, we're not going to do it again because my buddies there that's sitting beside me on the council don't want that. And my white people down here in a certain area don't want those people down there, okay? And Toy Long, liquor store, and all these clowns out there talking about this and that and low-income housing. It wasn't even about that.
Exactly.
It had nothing to do with what they were bringing. It was better than what's on Wedgefield down there right now. You ride down and you see what I'm talking about. Right on the backside. That's a dump down there. Okay?
Yeah.
So, and folks walking down talk with don't want those people in my area. Man, please. And the folks that was talking about it, all of us inbreds. Talk about the inbreds. They were the inbreds. The inbreds were talking.
I'm gonna just say shout out. Let me real quick, Marilyn, shout out because I got two people I need to shout out, or two entities. Okay. One, the NAACP for hosting the various forums for the candidates, for the school board candidates, and for the NAACP being sensitive enough to the voice of the people to hold one of the forums in Andrews. That was big because Andrews has been denied so much. And that says that the NAACP and you as President Marvin, that you are listening. You mentioned gentrification and West End, and that is exactly what all of these moves are heading towards. Because what I find so disturbing is, let me tell you, they want everything that we have without us. They want the culture, but they don't want us. So they'll take the culture, they'll take the history, spin the narrative the way that they want to spin it, without absent of us. And then we are only brought to the table when they can't figure it out. Okay? Because you tell me there is a shop on Front Street. There is a shop on Front Street. Now, Front Street ain't nothing but whitewash whole area. But there's a shop on Front Street, and across their front window in big, bold, beautiful gold letters, Gullah collection, this, that, and the other. And every time I ride by there, I kind of laugh internally because I'm like, tell me what you know. What do you really know about the Gullah experience, other than the fact that this is where all roads are leading to take our culture, to take our heritage, to prostitute it for profit, absent of our influence. So second shout out is to the Gullah Geechee Chamber of Commerce founder, Marilyn Hemingway, and her partnerships, her collaboratives, because I don't know who all is involved, but for bringing this 2-week Gullah Geechee Film Festival to Georgetown with the opening celebration starting last night, because that is where it is all about. Nobody can tell your story better than you. And to have people who can tell the story from the perspective of being a part of the story is different. And that's why, people keep saying, you know what, y'all sound angry and y'all sound this. Let me tell you, when you understand what is not getting ready to happen, but the wheels, that the motion that has already been put in place, that they are setting up to happen, honey, it's like building a house.
Yeah.
And somebody telling you you can't live in the house, but you can stand across the street
And look at it.
And watch everybody else enjoy the house
Or you could
that you and your ancestors built.
Yeah.
But you have no access.
Man, you walked right into that movie last night. That was huge. That movie from the Gullah Film Festival last night at Howard. I mean, great. That movie was off the chain. But you hit it on the head, Jackie. You know, it is so, and shout out to Maryland again. You know, because Maryland kicked this off in 2017 now. I remember when it kicked off. But people weren't paying attention. You know, they weren't paying attention. I was paying attention because I saw the footprint to where it's headed right now. And it's so, and shout out to county government too. County government and Park and Recs. They really support the efforts of the Gullah culture and Gullah Geechee culture that's coming through, and all the other things. They gave good support to what's going on right now. I got to give Angela Christian and her crew a shout out, you know, because she's really pushing them to get more involved and more diverse in the culture in Georgetown. Because we talked about it in the all county inclusive, you know, conversation and stuff through the Brunel Foundation, and Maryland's a part of that, and I'm a part of that also. And Jackie, you're gonna be a part of it too because your name went in the hat. So look for an invitation
from me and Marvin. But go ahead.
Yes. So we got to make sure that people.
If y'all if y'all setting me up,
hey,
to come in, look here, to come in and you know, only to get ran out a week after I get in.
No, it's not like that.
Okay.
Maryland know what I'm talking about.
I made it through the whole thing, but I called Marvin one time and said, Marvin, I don't know if I can finish this.
Yep.
You remember that, Marvin?
Yep.
I did. I was like, done. And I was like, I was done with this diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it's not the actually workshop itself, but I worked with someone outside, invited him to do a Black History tour, and someone who didn't look like us. And at the end of that Black History tour, I'm like, man, if this can't just plant a seed in you to think twice, you know what I mean? I didn't want to change him. I just wanted the seed to be planted.
Well, Maryland, he might have went on the tour that they put together for Black History in Georgetown that y'all have to take a test on to tell you all about Black History in Georgetown. So that's the tour he might have went on. You just shocked him and say that wasn't it.
Yeah,
you know,
that wasn't the truth, huh?
That wasn't it. You know, he didn't know about the Florence, you know, Dunmore Hospital and all this other stuff, and he didn't know about none of these things. He it's things that they just don't know, that they just that's their critical race theory way of not talking about it, because Georgetown was the bedrock for democracy for the United States. It saved the United States, the Gullah culture and Gullah.
Oh gosh, yes.
Culture. It saved them, but they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about how those Black people bring them out of the poverty that the United States was headed in. That's what it's all about. You know, it's power. It's just about, we just have to do this thing together. There's nothing wrong with doing it together. We just have to tell the truth so we can move forward. Quit trying to suppress our voice, suppress our culture, suppress and dehumanize us because of the narrative that they want to plant in their children. Tell their children the truth so we can grow together. That's the problem. We are stronger together. And that's the truth.
Yeah, and we have to know the truth. We need to know the truth to be stronger together. But before we go on with that, y'all, because Amy Kelly is here, and I want to bring her in for a few minutes to talk about the film festival, since we're Jackie went into the film festival and we're talking culture. And I want to go ahead and bring Amy in because she is on a time schedule too. So let's go ahead and bring her in and talk with her for a few minutes. Amy Kelly, welcome. Amy is the organizer of the International Gullah Film Festival that kicked off last night in Georgetown, South Carolina, and it continues tonight with a VIP reception. And if you are in with distance of the sound of my voice, I'm just going to go ahead and invite you out to the VIP reception for those watching. No one else is going to get this invitation, y'all, today. So y'all need to go and come on out. It's at the Black River Cypress Preserve tonight, 6:30 tonight. It's a beautiful, beautiful location. And every time we're out there, we have a wonderful panel. Jackie's agreed to be on the panel. We're going to have some directors and actors out there from the short films who will be on the panel. And then we'll watch 4 to 5 short films. So, Amy, it is always good to see you. It was good to see you last night. Can you tell us a little bit about the film festival? And I'm going to bring up the website.
Yes, so the International Gullah Film Festival does have a large selection of films this year that will be screening at the Howard Auditorium in Georgetown, South Carolina. So this evening, we do have a evening planned at the Black River Cypress Preserve where we have 3 filmmakers from 3 different projects that are going to be there to talk about their films. L.M. Davis, Frederick Murphy, and Felicia Rivers, who is actually with Gullah One Productions. So she is one that is making films specifically from the culture, and she'll be there to talk more about her film Glory Mountain, which is a really good story about the struggles. It's like an allegory about the struggles of women, which I found to be very on point and inspirational. So I'm really glad to have her come and share her film with us, because that's the point. That's the whole point of the film festival. We do like to see international films. We do like to see African American films. We do like films from the diaspora, but we really want to encourage Gullah films from Gullah people. And so I'm very proud of the work that she's done. And so it will be tonight starting at 6:30 at the Black River Cypress Preserve. If you go to the website, www.tigff.org, then you'll be able to find more information about everything that's going on. We do also offer a virtual screening as well. So if you go on, and you'll see the difference between registering for in-person and registering for online, which is through filmocracy.com, a partnership that we are very proud to have, because it does mean that as we get more Gullah films, specific Gullah films, it will be brought to a larger audience.
That was awesome last night, Amy. That film last night was off the chain.
Yes, it's a great film.
Everyone needs to see that over and over again. And
yes.
I'm going to be registered virtual tonight because I'll be on the road to Columbia, but I hate to miss anything. I'm going to try to make every day possible. 3 years, it was great.
Please do. We will be there Monday. We're going to be at the house. This coming Tuesday, we'll be screening around the same time that they have their this incubator. So as a film festival, we definitely want to highlight what's on in the community and make sure that we're and that we get creative, and we can start to see some financial gains as well.
Wow.
Yeah, I really enjoyed last year when I came out to Cypress Preserve. The short films that were presented last year was so awesome. I believe that was last year. I have lost track of time with COVID and everything. Yes. I can't remember. But when I was a panelist, let me just say it like that. When I was a panelist, losing track of time with COVID, I enjoyed it. I keep looking at the schedule that you guys have put out for the next 2 weeks, because I'm like actually planning my work trips around like the film festival so that I could catch as much of it as I can. I'm like Marvin. I want to catch as much of it as I can. And I'm telling you, I'm excited, and I just really want to see this grow, where you have people that are coming in from all across the country, just landing on this film festival and really just taking advantage of it and enjoying it. And I'm just going to put it in the atmosphere. I'm going to speak it and put it in the atmosphere that this film festival is going to grow in such a way where thousands of people will be converging just to come to this Gullah Geechee Film Festival. And it is going to grow into something phenomenal, and it is going to win many awards for years to come. So I'm just going to put it on out there. So Amy, y'all get ready.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Marilyn, get ready.
Y'all get ready. Because let me tell you, energy is something else. And I don't know if Marilyn notices this, but every time we go out to our favorite little watering hole to eat, it could be myself, Marilyn, or it could be Marilyn, myself, Marvin, but it's just the energy. A lot of times when we come into the restaurant, it's just a few people there. Then by the time we get ready to order our food and eat, it's just like droves of people start coming in. Certain people's energy is great for certain things, and energy has a way of attracting. By the time we get ready to walk out of the restaurant, they are bustling, busy, and booming. Now, Marvin and Marilyn, tell me if I'm right or wrong. We have never left that place, and it not have more people in it than when we first show up.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm putting it out there, because we have great energy on this show today, and we just gonna put that thing in the atmosphere. Let me tell you, I can't wait for the day, and it's gonna be very soon, where I could just watch you guys accept awards all over the country from the work and the efforts that you all are putting forth to preserve our history, our culture, and do it in a sense where it has so much integrity, and it's not just about money. Money is the byproduct of what you all are doing, but it is truly about preservation and the intent of helping people understand and respect who we are, where we come from, and where we're going. So I'm like you, Marvin. I can't wait. I can't wait for these 2 weeks and everything that it's going to bring. Yeah.
Yo, we're gonna have to let Amy go because she's
Don't
having
go,
some
Amy,
technical
don't
difficulties.
go.
But yeah. But we're gonna see her tonight, VIP reception in next 2 weeks with everything going on. And I love the fact that Monday is focusing on seniors at Howard. Everyone's welcome.
I'm a senior.
In particular, the seniors will get a treat from our senior programs.
I'm a senior, so I could come. You
can come.
I want that treat. Hey.
You can come. Amy, good to see you. We'll see you tonight at the VIP reception, everybody. You are invited at the sound of my voice. If you don't hear it, no, folks are coming, y'all. So let's have a good time. Beautiful setting. Amen. If you've never been there, it's a treat to come on out and walk around early before 6:30 and everything gets started. It really, walking past the Black River, it's just a gorgeous sight, and we encourage everyone to get out there about 6 and just walk around, and everything will start at 6:30. All right, good to see you, Amy.
Hey,
we'll
thanks,
see you
Amy.
later.
Go Gamecocks.
Thanks, Amy.
Go Gamecocks. Go Gamecocks.
I know, right? All right, see you later. And so the Lady Gamecocks, since Marvin is talking about Gamecocks, I think that's what I heard, but I might have heard go Gamecocks because I'm so excited that the Gamecocks, the lady basketball team, women's basketball team, is going to the national championship. To
beat Connecticut.
Woo,
yes.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
National,
awesome.
national championship. So, just a couple of things we got to make sure we get these in, folks, is that what's coming up with the union. Jackie, I have your slides up if you want to go ahead and talk about those. We have this one, Workers' Memorial Day is April 28th.
Yes. Workers' Memorial Day is April 28th. It is the day where organizers and union organizations recognize those who perished on their job. And this year, President Brave wanted to include clergy because clergy is never considered, if you have a pastor that dies in the midst of his pastorate, it's never considered as a worker's type of
On the
situation.
job.
So,
Yeah.
right, or the job. So he wants to include clergy as well. But anyone that has passed in the line of their duty, providing service through their job, whatever that job may be, we want to recognize them through a digital memorial that we will be doing on the 28th. So what we're asking is that pastors, family members, friends, loved ones that have died, on the job, accidents, or, as a result of their work, can you please email us or inbox us on our site. And the information is on the flyer, to submit a photo, if you have a photo, or their name and where they worked, so that we could include this in this digital memorial that we're going to have. We're trying to get all of those honorees in by April the 14th, so we have plenty of time to put it together and present it on the 28th. Yes.
All right.
So,
Very good.
yeah.
All right, you heard that, folks. This virtual memorial for Workers' Memorial Day. If you have any pictures, please send them in, and we'll get them to where they need to be. And then you have a second event coming up also, and that is, let me go ahead and get that flyer up for you. All right, and this is on April 6th, so this is coming up very soon. And it's Urgent Meeting Board of Zoning Appeals. What's going on with that? This is a huge economic impact in Georgetown, South Carolina situation.
Yes. Basically what it is, the Zoning Appeal Board in Georgetown is the board that is going to take the next step in terms of what is going to happen with the steel mill. We are asking people to please show up in record numbers. If you support the steel mill, if you believe that the mill should be open and need to remain open, we're asking that you come out. James Sanderson has some stickers that will be there that you can get to show your support, but we need to come out in record numbers to show this board that the community supports this mill remaining open. Now, I'm gonna say this one thing. That meeting is April 6th at 6 p.m. right there at the Municipal Center, which is the Georgetown Police Department, at 6 p.m. on April the 6th. Someone made a comment and said, well, will they hire more than 65 people? Let me tell you, whether they have 65 people or 1,065 people in that mill, I would rather see 65 people in there making a livable wage, good income with benefits that can take care of their family and really infuse into the economics of this area, as opposed to having 1,000 jobs paying $7.25 an hour. That does not make sense. That just keeps people enslaved in this economic, slave system. So it's not about the number of employees they have, it's what the mill represents and what it has done. It literally helped to create the middle class in Georgetown. And, and what we have going on right now is to threaten the middle class in this area and to put in these, to put in this system where you literally are going to have poor people on one side and the affluent and wealthy on the other side, and the middle class will cease to virtually exist. That's not That's not balance. It's nothing balanced about that. So please come out and support this meeting.
I agree with you, Jackie. This is supporting middle class jobs. And I think, once again, going back to what we were talking about earlier, people not paying attention. South Carolina's #1 industry is tourism. And tourism is an ecosystem that's built on low wages. And the people who own the businesses really make the money. But for them to make money, you have to have low wages, because there's not a lot of us, even now. I'll give Disney World as example, that people are getting pissed off because Disney is raising their prices, but to keep prices lower because of the nature of tourism, which is based on service jobs, their justification is, I have to pay people less. So it's all well and good that you want to have people in business and all, but a lot of small businesses, clothing stores and all, usually have maybe 3 or 4 employees, and that would include the owner. And they're going to make $7.25 to $10 an hour because your costs are so high, so they understand this. So it's a built-in ecosystem of suppressing wages until we change the agreement. And to change the agreement is, I want to pay higher costs so I can support, as a consumer, middle class jobs. Just recently, and so for all of y'all who think you're in the middle class, just in the last 2 weeks, it came out, to be considered middle class in the United States, you have to be making $400,000 annually.
I'm poor.
$400,000 annually.
Oh. Because
the income gap, the wealth gap is so skewed. The 1% and the 10%, you have to be considered middle class, $400,000 annually. I don't know too many people making that.
Exactly.
Jackie, but I know I'm not.
So
I
just trying to get people in the lower middle class.
Hey,
when you talking 100,000, you consider low. Think about it.
Man, I think I'm rich when I get me some scripts and grits. Just some scripts.
Okay.
Hey, give me some scripts and grits and little oyster, Rockefeller and stuff like that.
And we fight. I mean, it's such a rip up. Look at Walmart. Walmart, billionaires, one of the richest families in the world. And they hire people mostly part-time, mostly $7.25 an hour. And then when you get your new employee training, that part of their training is teaching you how to get on welfare and social services. So as a taxpayer, not only has a consumer, we're buying those products, allowing them to profit, but as a taxpayer, they're getting us both ways. As a taxpayer, we're subsidizing their $1 billion in profit. But this is how we got to start thinking, people, and understand.
Okay.
But
exactly.
That goes to tell you that, just look at Chick-fil-A. People ask, well, why are their food so high? They build quality, they pay the employees. You know what I'm saying? Because they were sitting at $14, $15 an hour before this pandemic and all this other stuff was going on. That's here in Georgetown. That's minimum wage. They consider that minimum wage. And you see the other places now, after people say, no, we're not going to work this, all of them went up to $14, $15 an hour. The majority of them did. All these fast food chains. You hear restaurateurs, well, I can't keep employees. But you're not going to keep them where you're trying to pay them. It's amazing. People will pay for quality, and they'll pay for what they want.
That's it.
They'll pay for what they get, but you have to give them quality. And people will work if you pay them to that point. Everything comes up together. You can't keep people on the bottom. So we're going to keep paying you this. We're going to raise the price on this. We're going to bring people in so the top can make more money. That's what it boils down to. It's just crazy. Just look at the money that we're dumping right now, not dumping, but sending to Ukraine, which is a good cause. But the thing is, where was this money when U.S. servicemen were saying we have servicemen on food stamp?
Okay. Exactly.
You have U.S. Armed Force servicemen on food stamp. You see what I'm saying? And I'm saying that to send somebody a message that these things need to be talked about in that congressional setting that they're sitting in the Armed Force Committee. They need to be fighting.
Right.
That's what John McCain was fighting for heavily. Heavily. You got to pay these servicemen. You got to pay them. When they get out, you have to pay them again. And they come out so broke up. You know, look at me. I have about 5, 6 surgeries the last 5 years. Still Humpty Dumpty when you walk out the door. You fall down, you get back up, they put you back together again, and you fight through it. JD's man on the line. I know he's over there growing hair right now and stuff like me. But it's just the same thing. When you look at these young guys coming in and stuff, you have to raise money. You have to raise money, you know, a kitty, so you can help buy them Pampers when they're deployed because their wives and stuff then don't have Pampers and stuff like that. Just groceries in the home to keep them from stressing out while they're deployed. And even while they're back in garrison. That's some of the things that we have to do as leaders in the military. You know, young families just walking in, expecting one thing, seeing something else. You know what I'm saying? They expect people to take care of them. We're taking care of America. We're supporting America, the bottom line. If the U.S. Armed Forces was over there right now, that conflict there would have been over with. You wouldn't have been bombing up the United States like that. That's the bottom line. But Ukraine also have to make a decision. They need to join NATO so they can get the support they need, or sit back and be playing this. I'll sit out here by myself. But that's what.
Well, Ukraine.
You got to make a decision. I don't support what Russia's doing, but and Ukraine needs to support. We need to give them everything, aircrafts and all, because they're a democracy. Freedom ain't free. The bottom line, and this represented right now over there in Ukraine. You got family members walking out there fighting with no training. And that's what we have to do. We have to fight. We have to fight. That's the feeling that we need to have as a democratic society.
Marvin, just one correction. President Zelensky did want to join NATO. He was trying to get NATO because if you remember, this is why Trump was impeached. All of the foolishness with the Biden trying to get the goods on Biden. It's deeper than Trump, but Trump was taking advantage of what was going on. But this, and he knows Putin was cultivating Ukraine because Ukraine used to be part of the Soviet Union, and then when they all went independent because of the fall of the Berlin Wall, all of that happened during Reagan, and they've been cultivating Ukraine ever since because Ukraine is the breadbasket. And people forget that. They focus on the oil and gas, but Ukraine produces like 20% of the world's grain. So bread, which is a life source for a lot of people around the world, a lot of it comes from the wheat grown in Ukraine, plus the oil and gas and other natural resources. It's a situation where I think ultimately Putin's he's going to have to be removed one way or the other.
And Biden said the right
But I did want to point out one quick thing, Marvin, what you're saying, and we'll come back to you. Have you been aware of what's going on in Tennessee?
No. I'm looking at this now.
Yeah. This town, Ford, this town has had some financial difficulties for decades. And recently, Ford announced that they're going to build a electric vehicle plant within 10 miles of this town, within the vicinity of the town, it's been annexed into the town. It is a majority Black town. All of a sudden, and only since 2014 has a majority Black town been run by Black folks who've been trying to erase the debt. They've never decided that. Before that, the town was run by mostly white people. And we know how that goes in the South. A lot of white people run majority Black towns, okay? Ford announces we're going to bring this plant here. Obviously, Ford bringing a plant is going to turn the financial fortunes of this town around.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the Tennessee comptroller decides we're going to take over the town.
Yeah. That's what you have
we're
to
going to remove the duly elected Black folks. We're going to control them. because we gonna control the money. Because he said we can't trust that they know how to run the money. Well, when the white people were running stuff for decades, y'all ain't have a problem with it then.
Just look at Georgetown, the city of Georgetown. City of Georgetown doing the same thing right now.
Exactly.
The mayor, look at the mayor. She her nephew's on the appeals board. You know, Jim Clement, the one that everyone had this communication and trust in so much, Mr. Gamecock. Oh, I played basketball. What in the hell that got to do with putting your wife as the chairman of the appeals board? Go Gamecock. Okay. You know, let's get real about this thing. They are positioning people. They are positioning people to suppress black boys, black votes, gentrify that black community. That's what they're setting up for. This overlay plan and all that, it's all about this tourism, get rid of the middle class job. 65 job is great, but once that steel will get established, those jobs will climb. But we have to help them get established. And if we sit back on our tail, they're gonna be back in a corner as you roll into Cancun, New Mexico. You see the Mexicans, they're back in the corner, and everybody tourism rolling on the beach out there. But everybody that owned the property, just like Polly's Olive, they own the property. Now they're back in the corner somewhere in some boxes, cardboard boxes, trying to live. Yep. I went there one time. I tell my wife, I'd never come back here. I spent all my money divvying it out to the people in the cardboard boxes. I ain't giving these clowns my money on no vacation. I got on out of there. I couldn't stand it. But it tells a story. Where there's money, you'll find greedy, racist folks. And that's all that boils down to. And that's what you have in Georgetown. Greedy, racist folks. And you need to call it just that. You need to quit tap dancing around these folks and talk about, you call me a racist. Man, yes, you are. What you demonstrate, leadership is demonstrated. If you're demonstrating racism based on your action, that's what you are. We got to quit playing with it.
Yeah. And oh no, we can't do micro grants for minority businesses because we can't trust that they will do the right thing with the money.
What
the world is that? What is that?
You withhold the money, then you blame the people that you withhold the investment from for not doing the right thing, for not growing. But you've withheld the investment, then you blame them for the problem. When you created the problem from withholding the investment, it's happening in Tennessee, it's happening here in Georgetown, South Carolina, it's happening all over. And the second part of that said it's a history of Black majority run towns being disenfranchised. This is why racism is systemic.
Just look at Andrews.
Thank you. Andrews, they stopped Andrews for years. They built a highway around Andrews.
Yeah, the folks that was in position.
To move people away from the center of town where they could come through town and stop and spend money. Yeah. That's deliberate. We've normalized corruption to the point that we think that's normal, folks.
Normal.
Question.
Yeah.
You got a mayor got the sue to get his money. It's sad.
And it's his money. Got the suit.
Exactly.
Money that his taxpayers paid into the capital project sales tax. He got the fight now to get the money to finish off projects in his town. He fighting through so much stuff. He remind me of Valencia in Ukraine. He got 2 county councilmen sitting on county councils, not even supporting him. 2.
And he was told. He was told to his face.
He's the mayor. He will
you're not gonna get anything until a white mayor is running Andrews.
Hello.
And that's something.
Turn right around and say, "But we're not racist."
Okay.
Yeah.
They're normalized with it. They don't feel that way. You do it long enough. No, you're not. They're normalized.
Yes. They've normalized it so much they don't. See it. But we have to live with it every day. But y'all don't want to teach your children, but we got to live with it every day. Y'all, we're gonna have to go. And this is a good show and everything. It's an hour, and we got to everything I think we need to talk to. Marvin, Jackie, thank you very much for joining us today and talking and everything. Y'all, drop us some subjects, drop us some topics. What's going on in your hometown? We got issues in Georgetown too that we deal with. We are activist people here in Georgetown. really doing the work. And I was actually just at an event this week. I had to tell people, and every day in the back of my head, I do think about my physical safety. I do think about my financial safety, because people are angry. They get angry when you question the decisions and the actions that are clearly not benefiting the entire community. But we're going to come back next Saturday and continue having these conversations. Go ahead, Marvin.
It's all right to be angry. But the thing is, everybody need to be angry. And everybody need to get uncomfortable in their comfortable positions. Because why you feel unsafe? Because everybody else around you is scaling back, because the voice is getting silenced because of the nickels and dimes under the table. We need leadership that's going to speak to the condition of the Black community and put money where their mouth is at. That's what we need. We need to quit tap dancing around this thing, call it what it is. We need to call people out when they're not taking care of us. Bottom line, you are paying taxes to be taken care of. Jackie was talking about union jobs. You know why unions is fought after so hard? Unions came out of the North. You know why? Black people went to the North because they couldn't get paid in the South. They came from the North because they were getting paid up there. Union supports and bring balance to diversity on the workplace. This right to work or right to fire Black people at will, that's what we have. That's all we have in South Carolina and the southern states. They give them the right to fire Black people if they open them out about what's going on. That's what it boils down to. That's what they're fighting against. They're fighting against equity and equality. That's gender, and everything else comes with it. So we need to get real. And that meeting on the 6th of April, Black
need to be there.
I'm telling you, you better go out there and fight for what you want. Because if you don't fight for it, you're not going to get it. White people, Jews, Protestants, whoever, pastors and all, we need y'all fight. We need to fight for equality. We need all them fights. Because everything we get, we're going to have to fight for it.
Fight for equality.
Freedom
and fight
is
for
not
equity.
Free. It's not free. And if you think it's free, you sit back and wait till them folks gentrify the west end of Georgetown.
Okay.
And quit letting folks put stuff in your hands. Fight for your jobs. Bottom line, fight for livable wages, and fight for those folks that sits in these $7.25 and $11 an hour jobs and crap in the school district in Georgetown County and all these other places. Everybody else getting paid. You got white folks on county council, on Georgetown County government, came in under that last administration with a high school diploma. He's hiring the folks. He's hiring the people with the master's degree and bachelor's degrees, screening their application, don't have a damn clue. Because they went and got a certification from a training. So that qualifies them to be in these positions. You see what I'm saying? It's sad. We put white people in position, then we tell them go get qualified. You got Black people can't even get the jobs when they're qualified. They're beyond that. That's what we're fighting right now. Across the district. So we got to keep it real and fight for what we want. And we can sit back if we want to. I hear people talk about Black men, y'all need to show up.
Okay. All right.
Hello.
That's it.
All right, y'all. Thank you, Marvin. Jackie, I'll see y'all tonight. Marvin, you be careful on the road and everything.
Yes.
And everyone, come on out tonight to the VIP reception at the International Gullah Film Festival at the Black River Cypress Preserve.
You forgot one thing, Marilyn.
What?
Congratulations on your award, the Black Caucus dinner.
Oh.
And Charles Braves.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Got awarded also.
Carolyn, you got an award?
Yeah.
Yes, he did. I sent you a picture. Your boss got awarded.
I know he did, but I didn't know Marilyn did.
Marilyn got an award.
The Gullah Chamber of Commerce, yes.
For the work that she's doing right now.
Go ahead, girl.
And everything else. And Thomas Dixon got an award. And
yes.
solely
and he's gonna be there tonight at the film festival. He's gonna try to come. Him and his beautiful wife Vanessa are going to try to come at the film festival.
Tell him I said hello, because I'll be.
Yeah, he sent me a message. So.
Chasing him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. Well, I'll see you tonight, Marilyn.
All right.
Marvin, be careful.
Take care.
All right.
night,
You guys
everybody.
have a great day.
All right.
Bye bye.
April 6th, 6 o'clock.
Yes.